Hello everyone, welcome to Urbanscape, Bangalore. And this garden tour will be dedicated to the change of seasons, the different life forms that call my garden home, and the flower power that each season brings to give us all a sense of hope in these times of despair. So this year, we thought we'd welcome the new year with some home renovations and a fresh coat of paint that was long overdue. And I must thank my brother for choosing this exterior color, which works so well with the colors of the garden. The green foliage, the colorful radiance of the blooms only get accentuated with this tinge of gray. And the best part is that unlike white, the soil stains aren't very evident with such dark yet subtle colors. So, this is a small paint tip for those who are planning to do a garden makeover. So, this year, like the rest of the years, the garden was bestowed with both rain and shine, and also a rare halo phenomenon around the sun, which I unfortunately missed. However, here is a glimpse of all the blooms that serenaded in the sun from January to the end of May. With summer comes the unbearable heat, and it is only imperative for us to take care of our little garden visitors. So I have this big bird bath for the birds to quench their thirst, and a much more shallower pan of water for the tiny insects and bees that fear drowning in deeper waters. So you could also provide them with an embankment made from such pebbles. Summer is also compost harvesting time, and after de-weeding the struggling roses thanks to the thrips, I've added a mulching of this harvested compost, no sieving, no refinement. I've added what you see. After the harvesting is done, I've restarted the compost, and there will be an interesting video on composting after this, so stay tuned. Summer also brought along with it a lot of fragrant happiness in the form of these jasmines, muraya, and more. Summer is also the time to give your whole garden a rejig with a little bit of plant movements to redefine your little green haven every year. The radiant gaze of the sun also brought with it a profusion of snake plant blooms that mesmerized a lot of you who seldom see a snake plant bloom. From one to many, the Alamander cathartica. Here we have our 20 years or more oleander plant that has survived all these years and has aged so gracefully, giving us company through life's trials and jubilations. These were also the amaryllis months that saw me increase my collection of amaryllis courtesy my friendly neighborhood aunties, the radiance of which will serenade your eyes the next year. I know it's good to look inward, but some outwardly gaze is important too. So let's look at some of my neighborhood jewels that have equally put up a show this summer. So I decided to finally get my hands on cleaning up my shed and opening up my nursery section, and this is how it looked before, and this is how it looks now. So here I can't do much about these containers that have my aggregates, compost and other garden essentials. This is the erstwhile shoe stand that is now my new nursery stand. The plants have been haphazardly placed, but as long as they stand, they'll do just fine. This is just my tool and miscellaneous items section. So I'm glad to give you all a small glimpse of the not often seen section in the garden that may not be as glamorous as the garden itself, but helps keep the garden look the way it does. So, as we set to welcome the great Indian monsoon, here is a prelude to the main event that we all have been waiting for. And as they say, some of the biggest happiness lies in the smallest of things. So, from small to big, let's look at some of our beautiful garden visitors that sometimes steal the show. Also, some of you must have seen my fish pond with a lily inside, so here is the update. So I started noticing the fishes disappearing one at a time, and it could have been the birds most likely, or the cats, and also snails, which is ruining my lilies, and I did not want them near my other plants. So I decided to dismantle it, and the few remaining fishes are in this bucket with more water that also serves as a fertilizer source for my plants. So I will either keep this as is in this container that has more than enough water, or give it to my neighbor who has an aquarium and can look after them. So you've seen a lot of my garden from the ground. Now let's look at the aerial view of it all.
Lions roaring in the morning sun, searching for a longer day. People feeling like the light has just come. We must never stop the way. Birds jumping and I hear.
Here is a glimpse of my little vegetable patch that grows in these grow bags kept on top of this plant stand. So some fruit harvests this year have been this not so great looking strawberry and this sweet tasting sapota. The fig tree gave us a fig, but it fell prematurely. Some plants came into the garden with a lot of hope, but left without a trace. And more importantly, a plant I've always wanted, the December lady. This was killed by the apathy shown by some people in the nursery industry who think it is funny to cage the roots of plants in this grotesque plastic mesh that to me serves no purpose. So, for those looking for suggestions to deal with such dastardly scenes, I would suggest leave the mesh as is in the soil, let the plant grow bigger roots and establish itself well, and then you could probably slowly cut the mesh off. As we set our sights on the coming seasons, here is a small glimpse of the garden videos coming your way once there will be a semblance of normality in our lives. So, with this, we bring the curtains down on a summer that saw the garden thrive and not do so well at the same time. A reality we all have to come to terms with when it comes to dealing with the vagaries of life.